Hey guys, my name is Hopkins Langler. I'm a sports therapist, and today I have a very special guest, Justin Robinson, point guard from the London Lions, two-time MVP, and I personally think the best point guard in the league.
It's inside.
Isn't Dean Jonas running into a bit of trouble there?
Ooh, Justin Robinson.
Washington on Robinson.
These two have had some great matchup over the years.
Robinson going baseline. Short corner. Oh!
Introduce yourself, say how you've been and everything.
What's up, people? My name's Justin Robinson. I play for London Lions, also for GB basketball. I mean, this whole lockdown has been tough, but
Yeah.
we're just trying to stay motivated, stay focused, and make sure our families are safe and our friends are safe.
Facts.
It's the most important thing. So,
Facts. Yeah. So the reason why I decided to get Justin down here for an interview today is because I kind of want to highlight the importance of having a physio for professional athletes, but even below that as well, just the importance of seeing someone, a specialist, when you get injured, but also talk about his career from where he's started playing basketball to where he is now and how he keeps his body fit. So we're just going to start off a bit with your upbringing. So you're from Brixton, right?
Yeah. From Brixton, born and raised.
Yeah.
I grew up, playing basketball on my estate from a young age.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went to a team called Brixton Cats.
Yeah.
Which is like down the road from my house, and I became part of that club. I became part of that community, and I just started improving and flourishing. Having that positive community around me. Having positive female role models, positive male role models, and having big brother roles, father roles, and I think I really embraced it myself. So
Yeah.
It kind of improved my overall life. I was really bad in school. My behavior improved, my grades improved, and of course on the basketball court, I was really improving and becoming my own player.
Yeah.
So
how did you, especially because at that time Brixton was kind of like that really tough and everything. How did you stay so focused at basketball during that time?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because growing up sometimes when you have a lot of mayhem and madness around you, it's easy to kind of fall between the cracks, and start mixing with a lot of negative people involved in crime and drugs and violence, and a lot of my friends were involved in that, like even some of my own family, but just from a young age, I had this vision, or this what do you call it? This dream in my head that I really wanted to go to America. I want to play high school ball. I want to play NCAA basketball. And I mean, I just kind of put my head down and tried my best to navigate that world at the time. And like I said, having basketball at Brixton Cats and having coaches like Jimmy Rogers and Jabbar Kasim, those guys they really kept me on the straight and narrow. They held me accountable. They were tough on me. They taught me life skills. So I really didn't want to let them down. Because they saw that potential in me as a person and as a player. So like I said, from a young age, from maybe about 9 years old, I told myself, I'll be successful. I'm going to the States, and I just kept working and working and working. And, sometimes you can keep those friends, even though your friends are doing badness, sometimes you can still be their friend.
Yeah. But,
you realize that, you have a goal to achieve, so.
Yeah.
It was tough, like you, obviously, as a young child, there's times where you want to, go down that road, you want to hang out with your friends, but I'm fortunate enough to have good friends that always believed in me, and regardless of what they were doing, they always pushed me to play basketball. Like they always told me, yeah, man, that they always told me that life wasn't for me. They
Yeah,
always told me.
yeah,
So I'm really, really fortunate. And, you know, some of those guys are my best friends to this day, you know.
yeah.
So I can't say that for a lot of other people, you know. Some people have friends that drag them down or, you know, they're bad influences on them. But, you know, my friends, they always push me to chase my dream, you know.
Yeah, that's amazing to have like a good core friendship
Yeah.
group to always push you, especially like because even I know there's some people like that for me when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Like they'll always tell me to keep doing what you're doing, don't do what we're doing. Like
Yeah.
you're on the right path and everything. I still chat to them to this day as well, so I definitely get what you're saying.
Exactly.
Let's talk a bit more about like your college experience in terms of like, you know, you're fortunate enough to go to high school in America, play there, and then play in college as well. How was that? Like you transitioned from the UK to an American system for
Yeah.
school and basketball and
Um,
living, just the whole
it,
experience.
it was tough. My first year was really tough, you know.
Yeah.
I went to a really bad situation. I basically was like, I guess lied to, you know, like I was
Mm.
told, you know, going to one place and I went to another place and the whole place was just a nightmare, you know. Like I was 16 at the time. I was going to the States by myself. It was my first time going there. It was a massive culture shock, you know, the food, the
Mm.
people, the schooling system everything was just so different. And, you know, it took its toll on me, you know, my first year, you know, like I almost quit playing basketball, you know, like
Mm.
it was that bad, you know. But then I was fortunate enough to transfer schools, you know, and I I did my last 2 years at Blair Academy
Yeah.
and Blair Academy in New Jersey, and that was like the complete opposite, you know. It's basically like a little utopia, you know, like you know, you get your basketball players, you got your nice campus, you get your coach, you got your teachers, and you know, it was one big community, you know, and they really embraced us as athletes, as student athletes,
Yeah.
and you know, for me, that was like the turnaround experience of America. You know, that made me change my mentality on how I viewed America.
Yeah.
And from there, I went to a university, Rider University in New Jersey, which was about hour 45 from my prep school. You know, I really want to stay close to my coach. You know, I'm still close to my coach to this day.
Nice.
I wanted to stay close to the New York area. You know, I got family in New York. So I mean, going to college was an amazing experience. Again, you know, I met some great people, had a great career, and you know, like growing up as a child, you know, you want to play against those teams, the Kentuckys, the Duke,
Facts.
you know, like to actually achieve that goal, you know, like sometimes I had to question myself, like, oh wow, like I'm really here, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was amazing, you know. I had a great career. You know, I got my degree. So yeah, man, I can't really complain about much, you know.
Yeah. How was the therapy there? Like the therapy, the strength and conditioning? Because I spent a year last year in Canada. So
Yeah,
I went to a university called Brock. So I saw like their therapy team and their strength and conditioning team. Like every sports team, like the big ones, so basketball,
yeah,
volleyball, hockey, they all had like designated like therapy and strength and conditioning teams. So I saw the amount of money and level they pumped into the players. So like
yeah,
every
yeah,
morning, because I helped them out as well. So every morning I was there with the basketball team, like 8 a.m. I had to get it for like 7:30, prep up, help them do all the exercise and stuff. Therapy team will be there after, before and after games. Like, how was that for you when you went?
Um, I mean, it was really good. I mean, you know, our strength and conditioning program was amazing. You know, we had an ex-NFL trainer
Mm,
at our school. You know, the therapy was really good. You know, they taped us before every game.
yeah,
You know, you got ice baths, you got step machines, laser treatments. Um, I mean, you name it. You know, massages. Like it was pretty much, you know, accessible to the players. Like pretty much the whole day, really. So, you know, if you had any problems, you know, you don't have to book an appointment. You know, there's so many physios, you know, you can just walk in and be seen.
yeah,
Um, and, you know, like, even like the weight room was like top notch. You know, I mean, it's quite a different culture in terms of, you know, sport in America and sport in the UK, you know.
yeah,
They, you know, they pump millions and millions of pounds into their facilities each year.
yeah,
And, you know, like, it's pretty much like a pro setup in terms of the level of facilities and physicals and and how accessible it is. You know, like our gym was basically open 24/7, so we could go in and shoot. You know, we could use the gun. You know, we could use the ice bath or like hot tub, stuff like that. So it's night and day compared to the UK. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, you know, you went to Canada, so you know what I'm speaking about. But yeah, man, it's just a different world, you know, like a whole different world in terms of sports, you know, which is quite unfortunate, you know, like we got a lot of catching up to do, especially in basketball, you know. But
yeah,
you know,
how important do you think it is for like a athlete to have like access to like massages, ice baths, laser treatment, and stuff like that?
I mean, it's really important, you know. I think as an athlete, you know, we don't really always understand the stress that we're putting our bodies on.
Yeah.
You know, if you had a hard practice and you want a massage, you know, you can go to the physio. You know, if your legs are feeling tired, you can go to the ice bath. There's basic things like ice, you know, having a physio stretch you. I mean, these things are amazing to have in terms of, you know, helping your mental well-being also, you know.
Yeah.
When you know that you have treatment, you know, that's accessible all day, or when you know you have someone that can stretch you or help you with your core or help you with your rehab, you know, it's really reassuring as an athlete, you know, like to know that you have that support.
Yeah. What was like your first injury? Do you remember what it was? And yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like growing up, you have little ankle sprains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had a bad ankle sprain when I was in prep school, my junior year, going into my senior year. But you know, after a while, you know, I just taped it up and played. But the most, like the worst injury I've had was when I tore my meniscus in my right knee.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was literally about to ask you, like, what was like your worst injury? Like, do you know like an injury that made you think like, oh, like my career might be on the line or stuff? Like, did you ever have that? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was the start. That was in preseason of my sophomore year, and you know, when they told me that my meniscus was torn, you know, I mean, especially as a young player, if you hear about anything being torn in your knee, you know, you start to think that, you know, my career is over.
Yeah.
I can't play again, so I started crying. I'm like, oh man, like, I'm finished, you know.
Yeah.
So I had the surgery, and then, I mean, they kind of rushed my rehab, you know. Like I was back playing on the court in 4 weeks. Yeah, so they're like, you know, like we did rehab, but I think they tried to push me to play sooner than I should have been playing.
Yeah.
I think it really affected me in the long term, you know, because I mean, I had that surgery 2008, and to this day I'm still having pain in my right knee, you know.
Yeah.
So they never really gave me a chance to kind of build the muscle back up, or, you know, the stability back up. And yeah, man, you know, I played way too soon. But I mean, it's one of those things, you know. Maybe I should have been a stronger personality and said, no, you know, I'm not ready. But especially as a young player, I'm so eager to play and get back out there.
Yeah.
You know, you don't, as an athlete, you don't always listen to your body, you know. So yeah, you know, that was the more serious one.
So would you advise like young athletes to, you know, if they do get like an injury like that, for example, and they get pushed out to play early, would you? Hello? Yeah. So would you advise young athletes to basically not go back to playing when that injury is a bit serious like that, to really take time with the rehab?
Yeah, I mean, like you really have to listen to your body, because I mean, even in my situation, you know, even though, you know, I could move, I could run, I could jump, there was pain, you know.
Yeah.
And the strength wasn't there yet, you know. But obviously, you know, if your coaches are asking you every day, like, yo, man, how you feel? Like, you ready to go? You ready to go? It's kind of like a mental mind game, you know.
Yeah.
So you really have to be strong enough and, you know, aware enough of your own body, you know, to know, okay, I'm not ready yet. You know, give me a few more weeks, I'll be ready, you know. And really, you know, take that time to build the muscle back up, you know, build the balance and the stability, because if you don't, you know, you'll be like me, you know, having knee problems 12 years later, you know. So
yeah, and that's not nice, man.
At all,
nice. What was like your mental state after like hearing that? I know you told me that you cried and everything, but like during the rehab process, because I remember when I went through my ACL rehab, I was low. Like, I wasn't able to walk. my family had to like do things for me. And, you know, it's not nice, like, you know, when you're so used to like being dependent, like just being independent, and then you have to be dependent of someone. Like, how was it for you? I know you had like a very short window for like a rehab.
Yeah.
But talk on that.
To be honest, it wasn't that bad. I mean, the meniscus is nowhere near as serious as an ACL or MCL. I think the hardest part for me was like the whole surgery process. You know, like going through the surgery, you know, going to the hospital, you know, waking up and your knee is the size of a melon, you know.
It's mad, isn't it?
And you're drugged up, you know.
Yeah.
Emotions running through you. And then, you know, the small things, you know, like working on the movement and scar tissue. I think that's the hardest part, you know, because, I mean, especially as a young player and someone that had never really been injured, it was the first time where I felt like, you know, I was vulnerable, you know. It was the first time that I realized, okay, you know, my career could be cut short, or, you know, the game that I love can be taken away from me.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's one of those things where you really have to be strong mentally. And it's also tough, you know, seeing your teammates out there, you know, they're healthy, they're playing, and you can't play with them, you know. But, I mean, you really got to stay strong, you know, you got to stay focused and just realize that there is light at the end of the tunnel, you know.
Facts.
So, yeah.
At what age did you, like, have, like, your first physio or sports therapist? Like, seeing someone?
I think that was when I was about 17, when I started playing for the England team.
Yeah.
And we travelled to Czech Republic, or I think it might have been Czechoslovakia back then. And yeah, I mean, that was the first time I even had a massage. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the first time I had someone like take my ankles, or yeah, man, you know. So that was like, oh wow, okay, we got this, you know, at our disposal. So, you know, I made the most of it. You know, every day getting stretched and, you know, massages, and, you know. So yeah, that was quite an eye opener.
Did that make you feel more confident on the court, like knowing that, okay, cool, like you've been stretched out, like, you know, you have tape on, you're able to play like, a bit more 100%, and also if you do hurt yourself, there's someone there to take care of you?
No, for sure. I mean, it definitely helped my performance. You know, it helped the mental side. You know, if I was feeling fatigued, or, you know, my hips were tight, you know, I had someone at my disposal that I could see. You know, so it definitely helped my performance, my mental edge. And yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, I'm coming up playing at Brixton Top Cats, who there's no physio, there's no, you know, there's no one to take. You know, you barely even know about stretching. You know, so you know, yeah, man, it was a new experience.
All right, moving on from that, you've played around Europe. How was it? Which was like your favorite team to play for?
I've been on a few like really good teams, in terms of like, you know, teams that had like a brotherhood, or, you know, teams that were successful. I think my first year when I started in Cyprus, you know, we really had a good team, and everyone stayed in the same building, so it really kept us close as a team on and off the court, you know. And then we finished in second place, and we lost in the semi-finals, the playoffs, and that was my first year, you know. So, you know, I had quite a warm first year, in terms of, you know, like I got all my money, you know, things were smooth, you know, I was in a nice country, nice weather. But I mean, there's been some teams or some years that have been bad, you know, like for example, when I played in Ukraine, it was just, it was hell, you know, like, you know, like no sun, you know, cold all the time, snow, you know, no one speaks English, you know, you might get some racism here and there.
Yeah.
So, and then later on in my career, I played in Greece also, and there was a team called which one was it? Not Lefkada, Trukala. That was the year that me and Obi were on the same team.
Yeah. I didn't even think you guys played together before.
Yeah, in Greece, and I mean, again, that team was like a brotherhood. You know, like we played for each other. You know, all of us, like even the Americans, you know, like all of us had like mutual friends, so we all kind of just came together, you know, naturally. You know,
yeah.
And it was just a great year. You know, like I think we finished 8th that year. But I mean, again, the Greek league is a tough league. You know, so to even finish 8th is a huge achievement. But again, you know, like that team was pretty like selfless. You know, like all we cared about was playing for each other and winning. And all we cared about was playing for each other, playing for the town. You know, playing for the fans.
Yeah.
And you know, the whole town really embraced us. You know, I think Greek people on the whole are quite warm people. You know, they're quite welcoming, and you know, they treated us like superstars. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
So what was like your best and worst experience, like overall being abroad, playing away from England?
It would have to be playing in Ukraine, to be honest. And it's so weird because Ukraine at the time was the most money I had made. You know,
Oh, really?
I signed for my biggest contract, but I was the most unhappiest. You know, it was a tough country to live in. You know, it was an organization that was paying us late. You know, we had a coach that was like the biggest jerk ever. You know.
Yeah.
So he made like my life, and we had 2 other Americans there. He made our lives hell. You know. It was just a tough place to be, man. You know, like the whole vibe of the country. You know, it had this whole like Soviet Union vibe. You know, like they're still kind of stuck behind time. You know.
Yeah.
So it was tough. It was tough. You know, and you know, I mean, it really like made me cherish the upcoming countries that I played in. You know, like so, you know, Greece. I played in France, played in Hungary. You know, places like that. I really appreciated those countries. You know, after playing in Ukraine.
So you've come back. You've been. This is like your 4th season now, back in the BBL. Third year.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to come back home?
Well, my son was born when I was in Greece. No,
Yeah,
he was born when I was in Greece, and then my son and my girlfriend they joined me in Greece. So he spent the whole year with me in Greece, and then the year after that, my girlfriend was pregnant, and then I was in Greece and she was in the UK, and I just felt it was a lot of back and forth. You know, leaving the country, leaving my family. And it's not fair, you know, on the kids, on my girlfriend to be up and down and, you know, be separated from them.
Yeah.
So, you know, in my head, I just thought, you know, it's time to come home and time to kind of set up shop at home, you know.
Yeah.
Time to build a foundation and build a base, you know. Yeah, you know, Vince, he happened to reach out at the same time, you know, and, you know, we sat down, we negotiated contract, and we came to an agreement. And
nice. Yeah. Was your first season when you played the Ball Brothers?
Yes.
I remember I was actually at that game. I was you were that guy lining it up. I remember now. Yeah.
It was.
How was that?
That
playing against them, like
it wasn't really a real game, to be honest. I mean,
they
wasn't really playing defense. They were cherry picking. You know, it was more so like I think to me, for entertainment. You know,
yeah,
for the
that's yeah.
You know, like it was almost a packed house in there. You know, so it was more so, you know, for the fans, for the crowd. You know, Human Fix, so, you know, all these online sites, you know, speaking about it. But I mean, I wasn't really too bothered about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
you're just hooping.
Yeah, like, I'm not really into that whole kind of, you know, spectacle circus kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was cool. I mean, they're both like really, really good players. You know, especially the younger one. The younger one is. He's a beast, man. You know,
he's a beast.
And now he's about to be a top 5 pick in the draft. You know, so I mean, it was cool. It was good for the BBL. It was good for the UK. You know, so can't complain, man.
How have you been taking care of yourself, like during lockdown, like in terms of like your health and stuff and everything? Especially because you weren't able to go to the gyms.
Yeah, it's been tough. You know, like I've actually put on like 3 kg. You know, like. I'm not sure if it's muscle or if it's fat. I don't know what it is. But you know, I started off really strong, to be honest. Like when the lockdown thing started, you know, I was working out every day. You know, I was thinking my body, and then, you know, I did that for about a month and a half, and then I kind of hit a wall of motivation. You know, and I took a dip. You know, in terms of you know, how often I was working out or how often I was stretching and stuff. And only of recent, I've kind of started again in terms of, you know, I'm working out every day. You know, I'm stretching. I'm making sure that my body's right. I'm actually about to go and get a massage tomorrow, actually.
Nice.
At some place that I paid for. But that'll be the first time since March. You know,
March, innit? Yeah, before the season starts.
You know, so it's been tough. It's been tough. You know, like you try to. It's been really tough because, like I said in the beginning, when you're used to a team sport and you're used to working out, you know, with teammates, or you're competing against people, it's hard to train by yourself and, you know, kind of keep up that intensity. And then also, like, you're at home more. So if you're at home more, you're gonna eat more, you're gonna snack more, stuff like that. You know. Yeah.
Plus, and we weren't really allowed to go out like that anyway.
Exactly. So you're not burning as much energy, as much calories. So, you know, it's been tough, but, you know, it could always be worse, you know.
No, definitely. I mean, I was seeing like on your Instagram how you did do a few sessions sometimes and stuff, like you training or exercising, which is really good. And plus, the fact that you hit a wall, I think it's normal. Like, even like I remember when the Premier League started again, you could see that so many athletes just super out of shape. And it's just crazy how, especially for like you guys can really lose your fitness very quickly. Like your game ready fitness, and it's nuts. Like 1-2 months, that's it. You guys are gonna need to train back up for like another month and a bit to get back up there.
And then the thing is, like, I think it takes so long to get back into shape, you know. And I think no matter how much you run, you know, you could run 3 miles a day, you know, you can do basketball workouts outdoor. There's nothing like game shape, you know. So
facts.
You know, like, you'll never be in game shape until you start playing games. You know what I'm saying? Or playing scrimmage or pick up. So, you know, you can only do as much as you can to kind of maintain or, you know, kind of stay close to that level of fitness, you know. So
So during the season, like, what do you do to, like, you know, stay fit in terms of, you know, like any like prevention injuries, like nagging pains? Like, what's your routine? Cause I know every time I see you warming up, you always have like your resistance band that you actually have like your usual routine. Like, what do you do?
I mean, I definitely have my stretching routine that I've had for years and years and years, you know. And I always do that, you know, like before the game, you know, like I'll do that like the night before, I'll do that after the game. So I try to keep working on flexibility. Like, I'm not the most flexible person, but I do try to, you know, keep that, you know, range of motion in my hips and my hamstrings.
Nice.
But like, I mean, off the court, I mean, I try to do more stability stuff and injury prevention. I mean, I'm not really the type of guy to go in the gym and lift the whole gym, you know, squat this and deadlift that, you know. I don't think that always equates to basketball, you know. Like, I'm more interested in preventing injury. And I think especially at my age now, I'm 32, I'm not in there trying to kill my body, you know. Like, most of the time I'm playing a lot of minutes and, you know, a lot of games. So I really try to kind of, you know, just keep it short and sweet, really, you know. Like I said, work on stuff like stability, ankle stability, you know, knee stability, hip movements, working on the glutes, you know, on my core. And that's about it, really, you know. Like, if I do any upper body or any squats, it's always either really light or low reps if it's heavy, you know. So it's really trying to, you know, like I said, you have to know your body, you know. So I know my body at this stage, and I know what my body, you know, responds to and what it doesn't respond to.
Yeah, I think it's really important that you've mentioned like stability, and like stability and injury prevention are such a key factor, especially for like, let's say, ankle, knee, and hip injuries. So having good hip stability and glutes activation can really deter so many injuries. And I can tell, especially at your age, those are the type of things that you really need to focus on, like the small things, like the movement, the range of movement especially, because as you get older, range of movement starts to decrease a bit. So we need to keep that really up there, which is really good.
Exactly.
We're nearly about to be done, but what do you think the UK needs to do to elevate basketball? Like,
oh, there's so much. I mean, I think there needs to be a change of leadership. You know, I think the people at BBL have probably been, you know, running the BBL for 20 plus years, 30 plus years. I do think there needs to be some ex-players that have, you know, maybe recently retired or that have played in the BBL a while ago. I do think that they should be involved in the decision making, you know, in how the league is run. Because I mean, we're the only league in the world that in the playoffs we play 2 games, you know, home and away. Like there's no other league. It's not football, you know, and even the
it's
way
aggregate score, right?
Yeah, like even the way
I don't get that.
Even the way they count the points in the like league table, it's like no other team does this, you know. It's just it's really like retarded, you know. I do think that there needs to be a bigger emphasis on, you know, helping grassroots and local community clubs, you know. I think all teams should be linked up with a local community club or local grassroots club, you know, to kind of create that pipeline of young talent and, you know, for young kids to know that they have a high level to work towards.
Yeah.
You know, and also I think BBL teams should be linked to a football team. You know, like I mean, if you go to Spain or if you go to Turkey, you know, even Greece, all of the basketball teams are all linked up with the football teams, you know. And you know, it just creates like a sense of unity, but also, you know, a injection of funds. I mean, people in the football side of things could help with the management or could help with the organization, the business side of things. I just think that there needs to be more of a long-term, you know, vision, whereas I think BBL is quite short-term in how they think.
No, facts.
You know? So yeah,
I definitely hear what you're saying in terms of like the management there being there for so long. Because I remember I had a talk with England basketball, so I was helping out with the so my university at Essex, we were like a hub. So we had to go to meetings, and like when I met the team down there of like England basketball, like they've all been working there for years, and they're basically
that's all it is.
Yeah, literally all. Yeah, and
a lot of them have never even played basketball in their life. They have no clue about how basketball's run. They have no clue about the community. They have no clue about you know, kids in the inner city. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, like literally, our main goal when we went there was to basically like give them ideas and stuff to do, and I'm not sure they're gonna implement some of them, but definitely in terms of like implementing more like links between professional clubs and youth clubs, like for basketball, that can definitely help. Because I can't lie, prior to this year, I did not watch the BBL. It's only until I worked with you guys. And then when I saw, the BBL was actually kind of lit. Like since I've been watching the games every week and stuff, and I love basketball. So definitely the kids need to see the level that we can play at in the UK. And obviously, like once you step into the UK, who's stopping you from like going around Europe after that? Like once you get into it. So there's a level, there's like a certain level you can work with. But also in terms of like, I kind of want to, I think I told you about this, like, I really want to do like a basketball event, like just in terms of like promoting the whole sport, but in a way that, one thing I never understood is that Paris, beautiful, amazing country, they've got K54. Amazing. And we're London, who are also lit, because I'm French, and I personally think London's littier than Paris, in my opinion. That's what I think. But like,
it's debatable.
I just don't get how we're practically like this in terms of like litness, but London's got nothing to show for it in terms of basketball.
Nothing.
Like,
but I mean,
France has got a very good basketball culture as well, very bigger than ours. I'll say that.
But the thing is, like with France, their whole sporting system is funded by the government. Like their government takes sport very serious, so they have academies, they have institutions, they have sport institutions that are funded by the government. So I mean, their kids don't have to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like they can stay.
It's true.
come up through the academies and come up through the institutions, and they can, you know, they have those pipelines to the pro teams. You know, that's why you see, you know, France and England have quite a similar demographic in terms of population, and, you know, people from Africa, the Caribbean, and, you know, it's quite similar countries in that sense. And, you know, France have so many NBA players. They got so many guys in EuroLeague, you know, their home leagues and their domestic leagues. Even their third division is pretty good, and they pay pretty good, you know. So it's just night and day, you know, compared to the UK. And it's quite sad because, like I said, you know, it's a country that has similar population size, you know, a similar demographic.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they can do it, why can't we do it? It just makes no sense, you know.
That's what I don't get, because, like you said, we're very kind of like similar in a way. But for me, I feel like in terms of like, we just need people to just break boundaries in the UK. I think that's something I really want to do with this event, just in terms of like promoting, because basketball music go really well together, promoting our music, promoting our talent, just in terms of like, just something different. Like, I remember Midnight Madness, like growing up, that was like, I never went to it when I was little. I've always wanted to go, but I never went. I went to one, I think, was it 2016? There was one in Couple Box recently, a couple years ago.
2015, yeah.
I think, I went to that one, which was really good. But, you know, I've always wondered, like, how come it's not been back? Or when I went to that one, the hype of it wasn't the same of how it was back in the day.
Back in the day was crazy.
Yeah. So I kind of want to replicate something a bit similar to that, but a bit more to like how we do things today in terms of like our culture, our social media. And but that's for like another day. And my last question is, like, you know, like, what are your plans for the future in terms of like the London Lions? Like, what's like your goal that you want to achieve this year with the team for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, I think for this year, you know, we really got a chance to make history, you know. You know, with the team going to Europe. I just think if we do okay, you know, in Europe, that would be enough, you know. That will kind of put, you know, the British basketball scene on the map in Europe. Facts. You know. I think the European leagues will respect us more, you know, because right now people don't really respect British basketball. And, you know, in the BBL, you know, it's the same goal how it is every year, you know. We're just trying to win all the trophies, you know. I mean, not this season, the season before, you know, we won the cup and the league, you know. Yeah. But I'm not satisfied, you know. Like, I want to make history and be one of those teams that goes down in history as one of the best teams ever. Yeah. So, you know, I'm really trying to get the whole clean sweep thing happening, you know. You know, the trophy, the cup, the league, and the playoffs. Yeah. And that's the goal right now. You know, I mean, nothing else even matters. You know, it doesn't matter about individual accolades. It don't matter about how many points you score. It's just win. You know, and that'll take care of everything.
I remember I watched like your podcast with Hoops Fix, I think after your first season, and you won the MVP award, but you guys lost, and you were just saying how like, you didn't even care about it.
You know, I mean, you see, like the whole MVP thing is nice, you know, to be active, you know, it's nice to be appreciated by your peers and by, you know, your rival coaches. But I mean, if you don't win the whole thing, then it's like it kind of I mean, I wouldn't say it's pointless, because I mean, those people have voted for you and they've appreciated you and they've put you in a certain light. But I mean, for me as a player, I always put winning first, you know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm not winning and I'm getting personal accolades, then it's kind of pointless. I think the team last year, it kind of capped it all off in terms of, you know, like I won the MVP and then we won the league and the cup. It kind of, it felt more, how do I put it, validated, you know, like I felt like that MVP meant a lot more than the first MVP, you know, because as a team we won. And for me, it's more of a team MVP, because, you know, without my team, I don't get the MVP, you know, like we won the cup and, you know, we came first in the league. So without that happening, I doubt that I win MVP. So it's literally a team MVP, you know. Yeah,
I hear that. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it so much for you doing this, for taking part of your Sunday. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good season. Hopefully I see you soon and we get back to training and everything, man. Bless, man. Thank you very much.
Definitely love, respect, man. Bless.